The tea I'm about to spill in this video is going to be so hot that it'll burn some bridges. I'm DG the Artist. I quit my job at Twitch to be a full-time rapper, and in this video, I'm going to be telling you all about what it was like to work at Twitch. I'll go over all the good and all the bad, why I decided to quit, and what's next for me. Before we get into it, this is my new full-time job. So if you like me or enjoy anything that I have to say in this video, leave a like, subscribe, and consider joining the channel to help me kickstart my new career. I think it's best to tell this story chronologically, so I'm going to assume you know absolutely nothing about me and start at the very beginning. How did I start at Twitch? So I was a computer science boy at Princeton University, but even before that, I always liked writing code. I think I learned HTML in like 7th grade or something just for fun, and then I got into like Python and Java and stuff in high school. And since like the middle to end of high school, I pretty much knew I wanted to go into software development. So I was doing my thing, studying computer science, and then COVID hit. So I was stuck at home, and I got really into Twitch streaming. And it just so happened that 2020 was the start of my junior year in college, and I hadn't had any like proper internship experience in college yet. And being surrounded by a bunch of Princeton students, I felt the pressure to start applying to a bunch of tech companies for internships. And here's where I gotta give the biggest shout out of the video. Shout out to Adam's uncle. Adam is my good homie. He was the best man at my wedding. We've known each other since we were 4 years old. And at the time that I was looking for internships, his uncle happened to be working as a contractor at Twitch. And for those of you who aren't in tech, or maybe you're trying to get into tech and you don't know how to do it, I hate to say it, but like the number one thing is getting a referral from somebody who already works at the company you want to work for. It's nepotism, it's terrible, but that's kind of just how it is. And I got lucky that my best friend's uncle happened to be working at the company I wanted to work for. Also, I want to give a shout out to Adam's uncle's Adam's apple. I realized when I was talking about Adam's uncle to people a lot that he has an Adam's apple. And it's just really fun to say the phrase Adam's uncle's Adam's apple. So I just wanted to point that out. Anyway, he submitted a referral for me and I went through a bunch of rounds of interviews. Honestly, I don't remember too many details from this, but there were just a lot of coding questions and whatnot. I do remember that early on in the interview cycle, they matched me with a team, and for whatever reason, they thought I would be good doing like server-side stuff, like really back-end heavy work. I have no idea what I said that led them to have that assumption. I really had like no experience with that whatsoever. I kind of just, I think in the interviews early, I mentioned that I just like writing code, and I'm kind of cool with whatever. Turns out I did pretty well in the interviews. They like me, and now I'm like, freaking out because hooray, I have an internship at Twitch. How cool is that? I know there's like always drama about Twitch going on and everybody's got their own opinions on it, but at the end of the day, it is just like a cool platform that I personally used a lot and really enjoyed and like made some money from and stuff. So I was like, it's so exciting that I get to work there. Anyway, I had that internship confirmed, wrapped up my junior year, and then started the internship in the summer of 2021. And if you just came here to hear me complain about Twitch, don't worry, there will be a lot of time in this video devoted to me having a bad time at my job, but the internship was genuinely really fun. It was a fully remote internship. We were still kind of in COVID days, but they still made it fun over video calls. You know, I got to talk a lot with my fellow interns and like, you know, build some camaraderie. My internship project was basically making a thing that sets off an alarm when certain servers are having trouble. Twitch internships are pretty cool, at least when I did it, because they actually give you something that like the team is going to use. You know, it's not going to be like some massive project or anything, but it's something that they actually need. They're not just giving you busy work, which was really cool. I got to learn a lot about AWS, Amazon Web Services, for those who don't know. You know, Twitch is owned by Amazon, so they use all of Amazon's infrastructure, and it's kind of like an industry standard to know how to use AWS stuff, so that was really helpful. Twitch also writes most of their code in Go, which was a new language to me, so I learned a new programming language. In general, I had a lot of good mentorship as an intern, just a lot of good people to talk to and like give me advice on how to like do well at Twitch. And they even flew me out to San Francisco for a week to check out the office and hang out with the interns, which was really cool. So yeah, genuinely no complaints about the internship. I had a really good time. By the end of it, I realized that I liked work a lot more than school. It actually inspired me to totally switch up how I did school in my senior year. I set working hours for myself, so I only did schoolwork between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. I did not get straight A's, but I wasn't going for straight A's. I just wanted to enjoy my senior year in college and like learn a few things here and there. So it went really well, like isolating my work time to those hours in the same way that I did it at my internship. So all that said, after the internship, Twitch said to me, "Hey DG, we want you to come back full time." It was a very different job market back then. So after my great internship experience, I was really excited. I didn't want to have to look for another job in my senior year of college, so I was like, sure, why not? I'll start at Twitch as soon as I graduate, and that'll be that. All that said, deep down, I did have a plan. There's a line in my song Storms at Night that goes like this. I'ma work for 4 years, stack the paper, then dip. My career is not my life, and if it is, I hope I quit, goddamn. And I'm really glad I can finally give the full context on what that line meant to me at the time I wrote it. I wrote that song pretty much right before I started working at Twitch, and I had the mindset that, yeah, it's really fun to work at Twitch, but also I kind of want to do my own thing. I want to be an independent guy at some point in my life, and like, you know, pursue my other passions. I don't have any aspirations of climbing the corporate ladder, of becoming a CEO, none of that. I don't want $1 billion. I want to be comfortable. I want to be able to support my family, and I want to do what I love. And at that time, as I was wrapping up college, I really liked the idea of working for 4 years and then taking a break to do something that would bring in less or maybe no money. I really like seeing life in like 4-year intervals. I was in high school for 4 years, college for 4 years, and I felt like it made sense to do work for 4 years. And for a little more context, I'm going to like acknowledge all my privilege here. Twitch pays really well. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that so you have context. Like, I was really shocked when I saw what my salary was going to be. But I don't need all that money every year to live. I live in a pretty low cost of living area compared to San Francisco, where Twitch is based. I spend money on experiences like travel and things like that, and like going to restaurants on occasion. But for the most part, I eat at home. I don't like buy stuff like ever. Like, I buy things when I need to replace the old thing. You know what I mean? So my expenses to live a really happy life are super low, especially in relation to the Twitch salary. So my plan was to save like crazy. Save the majority of my money so then at some point I can quit my job and maybe even just live off those savings. Like if I invested and just take out the interest every year. I don't mean to get into all the personal finance stuff here, but if this sort of lifestyle interests you, you should check out the subreddit r/fire. It's financial independence, retire early. There's like a whole community of people who are really interested in just saving like crazy and living off those savings earlier than normal retirement age. So anyway, sorry for the long interlude there, but before I started working at Twitch, that was my goal. Just save up like crazy and leave in 4 years and then do my own thing. Presenting 2022, coming back to Twitch full time. It came with more money because I'm a full-time employee now instead of an intern, which was crazy. The downside of getting more money is that it comes with more responsibilities. I did get to make some cool stuff in my first few months at Twitch, but it was a lot more overwhelming than my internship because I feel like I just had generally more freedom to like figure out how to do my projects, and it was really overwhelming not even knowing what questions to ask. There's just so much to learn about like doing tech in the industry as opposed to doing it like for fun or in college classes. So yeah, I had a few overwhelming moments, but still in general, I would say the job was good and like I enjoyed doing the work. I enjoyed the challenge. I thought it was cool. I was engaged. All good stuff. And now I got to give you some foreshadowing, which comes in the form of a small note about the work. So why did Amazon buy Twitch many years ago? In my opinion, I'm not speaking on behalf of the company here. It's probably to make IVS. To make low latency or real-time video available to viewers around the world. IVS is basically Twitch, but stripped of all Twitch branding. It's just all the like back-end logic that goes into keeping a live streaming site up and running so that if you want to make your own live streaming site, you can do it with IVS. So the Twitch video team works on all the Twitch servers, and that was the team that I was on as an intern and the team I came back to full-time. IVS also uses those servers, because again, IVS is basically Twitch, but without the Twitch branding. Suddenly, in 2023, there was a mass layoff and a major reorganization of what teams everybody was on. And now all of a sudden, instead of being the Twitch video team, we're the IVS team. No biggie, it's still mostly the same people, but it's a little more Amazon-y than it was before. Keep that in mind. So that was part of 2023, and in general, 2023 is when it started getting difficult for me. I now have an on-call shift, which is the worst thing I've ever had to do at work. Basically, for an entire week, I'm required to have my computer near me at all times, or at least be close enough to it, so that if some alarm goes off, I can go online and fix it. That includes waking up at 3 a.m. because Twitch is down in Miami. If you're watching Twitch in Miami at 3 a.m., go to bed. The on-call shift was tough because it required me to be knowledgeable about a bunch of services that I had never really worked on before, but like then they just randomly have an alarm go off at 4 a.m. and I have to wake up and figure out what to do. So this year came with a pervasive I don't know shit mentality. And the thoughts of like wanting to quit are sort of simmering in the back of my mind a little bit. But apparently I exceed expectations. This was a surprise to me because I felt like I didn't know anything, but I think the expectation for a new person coming out of college is that they would know less than nothing. So me knowing nothing was pretty good. I thought that was really cool, and it gave me some more motivation. It put things into perspective that maybe I'm stressing myself out a little too much if I'm exceeding expectations, you know? Maybe I can like tone down the stress a little bit and still be doing well. I ended up getting a promotion at the end of 2023. This is like a pretty standard timeline. I'm not like an exceptional worker or anything. After like a year and a half, that's kind of around when people tend to get their first promotion out of college at Twitch, which comes with more money. So exciting. I get more money so I can retire sooner. Amazing. Oh, right. More responsibilities too. Yeah, I forgot about that part. In early 2023, I started a Google document called Work Thoughts that I've continued writing in to this day. The idea for this document was if 3 entries in a row are ever negative, like purely negative, like I hate this job, then that means maybe it's time to quit. Because again, at this point, like I was starting to have simmering thoughts of like, this work is really hard, I don't like it, but still in general, there was a lot of good stuff that I enjoyed. So I wanted to just somewhat regularly write in this work thoughts document to keep track of how I'm actually feeling instead of like letting the bias of, oh, this sucks take over when it sucks. Because it's actually pretty good a lot of the time. Here's the first entry in Work Thoughts. Work is stressful because I don't know what I'm doing with the rollback and I'm not sure what questions to ask. Person 1 is asking a lot of me and I don't know how to handle it. Work is exciting because the new team seems nice and I'd like to get to know them. Also, Person 2 is working on the UI part of the API I'm making and she's a fun person to talk to. Work is good because of the money. Moving on to 2024. It's a new year and I had a new mentality. Commit to the bit. I made a video about this on this channel forever ago. I'll link it in the description. But basically the idea was I wanted to, for 2024, commit to the bit of being a software engineer. Because in 2023, I kept having these thoughts of like, I kind of want to quit. I kind of don't want to quit. And I decided for 2024, I'm not quitting. So don't even think about like quitting or whatever. You're a software engineer. Just do your job and like, you know, enjoy the good parts and get annoyed at the bad parts. You don't need to get all meta about it. That mentality really helped me in 2024. And it was one of my better years at work in general, like just mentally and on the job. And I would say the work was an endless loop of the following. Hey, work is pretty good. And then it's my turn to be on call. On call sucks. Like so much. Oh my God, seriously, it's unbelievable how bad this is. I don't care about money, get me out of here. My on-call shift ends. Hey, work is pretty good. All in all, committing to the bit was helpful, and I would say 2024 was probably one of my best years at Twitch. The work was pretty good, it was pretty low stress outside of the on-call shifts, but still, I was definitely planning my exit eventually. Here are some more entries from Work Thoughts that I particularly enjoy. I would consider this the duality of man. Thursday, March 28th, 2024. It's pretty cool that I work at Twitch. It's probably the best big tech company I could be at, given how chill my workday is when I want it to be. I'm kind of surprised at how chill I can take it. Most jobs that would pay less would definitely make me work more. Pretty cool. Still would like to not have responsibilities to a company someday. Sunday, June 2nd, 2024. I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. I got paged on 6 separate occasions last night, and it's just so awful knowing you're exhausted enough to fall asleep easily after each one and still being forced to wake up abruptly for the next one. This is the job. The rest of the job is literally nothing. This is the reason I get paid what I do. This is fucking insane. Like, I bet Joe Biden gets more rest than this. It can wait until the morning. It can wait until the morning. And now, as you can tell by the year we're on, we're approaching the end. So in early 2025, I was having a lot of internal conflict. I didn't decide to commit to the bit again in 2025, and my soul was being so drained around the beginning of this year. I remember I had a really bad on-call shift that was making me seriously consider just taking a sabbatical for a while just to chill because I was like too stressed out. But then I would remind myself of my privilege to be working at Twitch of all places and making a crazy salary. Like, I'm really grateful for this opportunity, but I just don't like working in big tech. But the work itself really isn't that much compared to other jobs. Like, I'm not working 8-hour days, you know, I'm taking a lot of random time off during the day to do like chores around the house and stuff. I get to work from home completely, but on-call is so terrible. Like, every on-call week is like the worst time of my life. But even that, there are so many worse jobs that would pay less than this. Like, you know, there are so many more stressful jobs that would have a worse on-call shift or like a worse work-life balance. You know, I should be grateful that I'm working at Twitch, but I don't want a normal job anyway. You know, it's not like I'm saying, oh wow, those jobs look so much better than my job. No, I'm saying that my job is no fun. Those jobs are also no fun. I don't want to work. I want to make rap songs that people like and go on stage and scream and have a good time. But I'm kind of already doing that. You know, I'm doing music while keeping a full-time job. So do I really need to quit my job to do music full-time? But yes, I do, because music is going so well lately. Like, I'm getting so many shows. I'm getting like real fans who like my music. And it's just going too well to be part-time. Like, if I keep doing it part-time, I'm going to lose the momentum I have and not be able to take it to the place I really want to take it. So that's the internal conflict of the beginning of 2025. I feel like I'm living in my prime right now. I'm in my mid-20s. It's the time to explore your passions and do all this stuff. And I'm stuck working at home at a job I don't really like that much. I told you the tea was coming. So yeah, in 2025, I'm really feeling this get me out of here mentality. I'm really not interested in committing to the bit anymore. The work is getting less interesting for me. On-call shifts are the worst. And I like made this beautiful album that I want to share with the entire world and just pursue music full time time. Like, I love it so much that I just want to devote all my time to that. So all that is boiling up in my brain, and then we get slapped in the face with the big switcheroo. The last straw, the ultimate upheaval. Amazon. So I mentioned earlier that the former Twitch video team is now the IVS team, and they announced on July 22nd, 2025 that very IVS team would be being picked up and moved over to Amazon in 2026. I don't like Amazon. Okay, I don't know if that's a hot take. You probably don't like Amazon either. And I know this whole time I've been working at Twitch, technically I've been working at Amazon too, but it felt separate. The work cultures were very separate. We felt very twitchy at my job, and I liked that. But Amazon is like the definition of corporate America and like climb the ladder and all the things that like just don't interest my creative soul. And from what I knew about the work culture from other people who work at Amazon proper, it sounds absolutely terrible. Like I really didn't want to work for Amazon, not just because I don't like the idea of working for Amazon as a company, but also because the work culture just sounds awful. So as soon as they announced that, a switch flips in my brain, and now I'm like so mentally checked out, and my only goal is to just like stay at the company to collect some more paychecks and leave like as soon as possible. Since that date, I also did everything I could to work as little as humanly possible. Like I was, just working on music during my work day. I would play Balatro at work, my boss blind to it. Nah, screw it.
I play Balatro at work, my boss blind to it. Nah, screw it.
Because at this point, I honestly didn't care if they fired me. Like, I was planning my escape anyway, and usually big tech companies won't outright fire you. They'll lay you off, in which case you get a really nice severance package with a whole bunch of money and benefits. So I would have actually preferred to get laid off than to like stay at the company and work well and be a good employee. I really hope I'm recognizing my privilege enough in this video, because I really understand that these are first world problems. Like, I have a high paying job and it's like pretty stable if I want to keep doing it. And I just happen to not like the work, but like nobody likes their job, just get used to it is what I feel like a lot of people would say in this sort of situation, And like so many people would do anything to have my job, but I'm not one of those people. And eventually I had to admit that to myself, that yes, I'm in this job, but I'm kind of just cosplaying as a person who likes this sort of work. I really don't like this work, unfortunately. And here's like the big ultimate first world problem. It became very mentally taxing to me to pretend to be a good employee, because I was still like acting like I was getting work done, and I would get some done, but I wasn't getting nearly as much work done as I could. And so I just felt like a lot of internal guilt, because there's like something in me that feels like I have to do well at everything I do, but I just at the same time couldn't be bothered to work harder and actually care because I'm so checked out. And like I said earlier, big tech companies pretty much don't fire you unless there's like mass layoffs, and I would want that anyway. So it was just really hard to find any motivation to get work done in this period. So anyway, I had made my decision. I don't like Amazon. I'm on the way out. I'm going to wait for my big payday, because for those who don't know, tech companies like this pay you in stocks every once in a while in addition to your normal paycheck, but those stocks make up sometimes like a majority of your salary. So my next big stock grant was coming on January 15th, 2026, so I was like, I'll wait it out till then, and then I am ghost. So I waited it out. Those months were really tough. I was writing in my work thoughts document a lot. Honestly, let me know if you want me to do like a story time video where I just read like every entry from my work thoughts, obviously with like stuff redacted, but like, I mean, not as much as they redact in the Epstein files. But I was just writing in there a lot because it was just such a state of limbo where I was like, I'm really focusing more on music than on work right now, and music is going so well, and I just wish I had more time to like properly devote my energy to it. And then the day finally came when in January, I told my boss that I was quitting. Immediately afterwards, I went to Target with my wife, and I was tripping out. I was like, what am I doing? What's going on? What is the world? I was okay, don't worry, but I was definitely like dissociating a little bit. Like, this doesn't feel real. It wasn't the triumphant F you Amazon moment I was hoping for, you know what I mean? It was like, I just felt like, what am I doing? But pretty much the next day, my attitude was way back up. I was like, I get to be a full-time rapper so soon. And since then, the burnout is insanely real. I've barely done any work since I told my boss I was leaving. February 6th was going to be my last day. And the whole time I was like, it just can't come sooner. I'm counting down the hours. And here it is. I'm filming this on February 6th at, 3:38 p.m., which is during work hours, you might notice. So technically, I'm still an employee. Technically, I'm not quitting Twitch, I'm quitting Amazon, but I've only been an Amazon employee for a month. But anyway, what's next for me? I'm gonna be a full-time rapper. I'm so freaking excited that I can say that publicly and people can like be excited about it, because I've been planning this for 4 years and we're finally here. I'll be a full-time YouTuber / streamer too. You know, I'm really not the type of rapper who wants to have like a mysterious persona. I'm going to lean into the content side of things a lot. There's going to be a lot more fun videos coming out really soon. My plan is to have weekly update videos where I basically go over like week 1 of being a full-time rapper, week 2 of being a full-time rapper, like sort of vlogging it, showing you what I've done, going over like my stats, analytics, things like that, because I want to be like a totally open book and maybe even be a blueprint for other people who want to do this themselves. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to title that series. I was thinking Road to Travis Scott feature. For those of you who know me, I am obsessed with Travis Scott. I think he's an awesome rapper and I would love to get him on one of my songs someday. I kind of like Road to Travis Scott feature because it feels like it's more about the journey than the end goal, because I don't think I'm going to get a Travis Scott feature anytime soon. But you know, it's like something to consistently reach towards. I'm also workshopping a twice a week stream schedule, still figuring it out, but make sure to follow me on Twitch at DG the Artist. It's funny, I'm quitting Twitch, but I fully intend to be active on Twitch once again now that I have more time to devote to live streaming, so I'm really excited for that. Gonna have more concerts than ever before because now I actually have the time I need to reach out to as many venues as possible and just bring DG the Artist everywhere he can be. And maybe the most exciting thing is more new music. I'm currently working on my EP, I Quit My Day Job, and it's incredible. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be a short EP. My plan is 5 songs. I have 4 of them like more or less in like a listenable state, but I'm in my bag. Like ever since I decided that I'm gonna be a full-time rapper, my confidence on the mic has just like skyrocketed, and I just feel like my music has gone to another level. So get ready. It's actually going to be insane. And please do subscribe, like, comment, join the channel, all of the above, because I have to take this seriously before I run out of money. Like I mentioned before, my goal was to sort of like pseudo retire, I guess, you know, like to be able to survive off my savings. And I do have a lot saved up. I'm not going to get into exact numbers because I feel like that's maybe not the smartest thing to broadcast to the entire internet, but like I'm doing okay. Like don't worry about my funds in the short term at least. But at a certain point, if this doesn't become profitable, I will have to find a job again. So I mean, I'm going to take this seriously and try to at least bring in some money from it to supplement what my savings can generate. That's the goal. So before I leave, I'd like to give a quick in memoriam to Twitch. Despite all the stress, you've been great to me. I've grown a lot in the past 4 years, maybe not in the way that a lot of my colleagues and managers and stuff would expect. Like, you know, I'm not growing in like a corporate America sense, but I'm growing in that I'm learning a lot more about myself. I'm learning a lot about what I like and what I don't like about software development. But the number one thing that I want to say here is to my colleagues and managers that I've had over the years, y'all are the best, seriously. Like if it wasn't for the support that you all have given me over these years, I probably wouldn't have stayed as long as I did. And a special shout out to my manager. I really hope I didn't say anything in this video that broke your heart when I was like sort of shit talking the work, but like you've really been a great manager. And I know I've said that to you, and I hope you know that like you couldn't have done anything different here. It's just not my goal to stay forever. Sometimes life is about learning what doesn't work for you so you can figure out what does. And for that reason and many others, I will always be grateful for my time at Twitch. But I hate Amazon.